Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the PSBlue Podcast, available everywhere. This is episode 22. I'm joined again by my wonderful co-host, Adonis. How are we doing today?
We're doing great. Today's going fire. Football is happening, and I'm ready for the show.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to say that every week because we are recording on Sundays. So
Football Sundays.
We're just going to keep saying the same thing that, we watched football today. Are you playing anything new, or are you just hanging out with Mortal Kombat 1 still?
It's my love. It's my love of my life.
Okay, yeah, I have nothing new to report either. I've just been playing Lies of P and Baldur's Gate, just like last time. Yeah, so pretty straightforward. We're just going to dive right into this episode very smoothly. Today's topics include Sony Pictures Core, another data breach, unfortunately, a Lords of the Fallen preview, and more. But first, the quote of the week. Adonis, congratulations.
Let's get it.
2 weeks in a row. That's impressive. Last week, Adonis said regarding the PlayStation Portal, quote, "I won't be getting it. I'm just not getting the relevancy for it, especially for $200. If I need to take a dump, I'll just hit the pause button." End quote. Anything you want to say on this? I mean, that's inspirational. That's like I said, I want to get it printed on a t-shirt. If I need to take a dump, I'll just hit the pause button. That's a metaphor for life, really.
Yeah, what they're intending to sell it for, its purpose, it's not needed. I think it looks good. It's a great Christmas gift, but that's kind of where I draw the line. I don't think I'm going to be getting it, and I wouldn't get it for any of my loved ones.
Yeah. No, that's very, very straight and to the point. I mean, I kind of have to backpedal a little bit. I think I kind of like it. The more I think about it, I just won't. I can't justify buying it for myself. It's something that I would want someone to give me as a gift. I think that's just like you said. If somebody gave it to me as a gift, I would be totally cool with that. I wouldn't return it.
Oh yeah, for sure. 100%.
Yeah, but it's not something I'm not running out to buy it.
Nope.
All right, so let's dive right in because we are on a little bit of a time crunch today. If you guys haven't noticed, we're going right through these topics. So this is going to be a pretty condensed episode. But the first topic here is Sony Pictures Core. Now, I'm just going to read this off of blog.playstation.com because I'm going to dissect this as we go along together here. So Sony Pictures Core, formerly Bravia Core, launches on PS5 and PS4 consoles. Exclusive benefits include early access to select Sony Pictures films. So this is something that is going to be coupled, I guess, with PlayStation Premium as well. It's a Sony Pictures films, I guess, companion for PlayStation Plus Premium, but also just a separate streaming service in and of itself. I'd never used Bravia Core, but I saw this pop up on my PlayStation 5's home screen. There's articles about it. It seems like they're trying to offer some more content for Premium because we've discussed this before. Premium is an extra $3 a month, and it doesn't really offer anything of value as far as the tiered PlayStation Plus services are concerned right now. So, Adonis, do you have anything to say about this? Do you know anything about Bravia Core? Talk to me about this.
I've never heard anything concerning this Bravia Core. I mean, it sounds cool. I think Sony can definitely use this to their advantage, right? Having a lot of the collective rights to a lot of really good movies. So right off the bat, when you talk about them offering exclusive access to some of their films, I think that's a really good selling point. In terms of streaming services, like there are a lot of cornerstones that just are not to be moved. So Netflix, not to be moved. Hulu, Prime Video, Paramount is a big one now. Peacock, there's just so many. So Sony is going to try to establish themselves in the streaming game by offering this service because no other streaming service can. Like Sony's going to say, hey, listen, this, $300 million grossing film that everybody loves and wants to see will only be available on our streaming service. And I think that's kind of big.
Yeah, and I kind of have a different take on it. I don't know if they're trying to compete with the Netflixes and Hulus of the world. I think that this is just something that they are offering as a way to maybe have more reach of their brand, maybe just branch out a little bit. And I think PlayStation is very important to Sony. I really do. I really get that feeling. We talked about this a little bit last week, and we can go in depth later on in the episode, but I really feel like PlayStation is a huge deal for Sony. Unlike Microsoft, where not that Xbox isn't a big deal, but it's just one of it's part of their umbrella, right? Mm-hmm. Where I think PlayStation is you have Sony Pictures and you have PlayStation. Those are the two biggest items for Sony. They have electronics, they have this and that. They have a bunch of other ventures, but those are the two biggest ones, I would say, personally.
Yeah, and they make a ton of money.
Right. So I think that the Sony Pictures core might have also been, curated and crafted for PlayStation Plus and for PlayStation to sort of integrate Sony Pictures with PlayStation a little bit more, because they have tried things in the past via the PlayStation Store to connect the two, but this seems to sort of bridge the gap and make it more seamless, right? Where PlayStation and Sony Pictures are becoming almost one, right?
Yeah, which is good. I think it's lucrative for both sides, right? Like Sony is able to now add another quote unquote feature for their users on PlayStation.
Right.
And PlayStation's able to benefit. So I think it's a mutually beneficial agreement, and I think it'll work out for itself.
Yeah, and I don't know how much you know about PlayStation Plus Premium, but we've covered it on the podcast before. Basically, I'm assuming you're at the extra tier, which is $14.99. You get the whole catalog of games plus PlayStation Plus benefits that you've had for years.
Mm-hmm.
Premium, you get access to streaming, you get trials, like 2 to 3 hour trials of new games, and you get a catalog of old games, but you can only stream about 60 to 75% of them, which is it's just bizarre because there's no way to access the PS3 library organically. And this is a whole new topic that a whole rabbit hole we can go down, but I don't want to. My point here is PlayStation Plus Premium is getting an added value here. And this is, again, from blog.playstation.com. I want to read this out. If you're a PlayStation Plus Premium / Deluxe, I don't know what Deluxe is, maybe that's like the UK version of Premium, member, you'll get access to a curated catalog of up to 100 movies through the Sony Pictures Core app to stream on demand from the Sony Pictures library as part of your membership. The catalog, which will be ad-free and updated periodically, features movies such as Looper, Kingsglaive, Final Fantasy XV, Elysium, and Resident Evil Damnation. There will also be additional benefits for all PlayStation Plus members, so stay tuned for more details. Ad-free, very big. I agree with you.
Huge.
What do you want to say?
Ad-free is the biggest selling point of all that. I think ads have slowly become the bane of our existence, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Twitch, whether you're on Hulu. A big part of their subscription service and their tiers of subscription service is based on ads. Any service that you sign up for, I don't want ads. I don't want them.
Right.
I just need to watch my show. I don't need any breaks in the middle of my show. I don't need that. So I think ad-free is just one of the biggest selling points for this, and I think it's just super relevant. I think people love the idea that they can subscribe to a service and get ad-free streaming.
Yeah, it seems as though, just to clarify, that's only if you have premium. So again, premium, it's an extra $3 a month.
Take it.
Yeah, it's. I've said in the past several times, it's a waste of money. I have a video on our channel that is just it's the PlayStation Plus icon, an equal sign, and the poop emoji, because that was how bad that was my take on PlayStation Premium. It was bad, in my opinion, like value wise, at least. $3 a month, you don't really get anything of value. I had it for 3 or 4 months and I just didn't use. Maybe I used the 3-hour full game free trial. I might have used that for 2 games. I didn't use any of the classic PlayStation games, and other than that, there's not really anything for that $3 upgrade. This is, something substantial that kind of makes it worth it.
When you have a service like this, and like you said, added benefits, because any kind of subscription service across the board is always comparative. Like, what is this one service offering me that I'm not getting here? And people are quick, like, hey, I'm canceling it. For example, I've been a Netflix, Hulu, Prime Video guy for a long time. And then I got my hands on Paramount Plus, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. They're offering great shows, great originals. And I think that's kind of where Sony's going to do things that other game subscriptions aren't doing. So PlayStation Plus Premium, I understand the equal sign and the poop emoji, but I think we might have to go back. We have to go back on those words, and I think it's worth it.
Yeah, I definitely have to go back a little bit there. It seems like, and I just love what you said here, that they are combining a game subscription service with a movie subscription service, which is something so obvious that I feel like Sony should have done such a long time ago.
Absolutely.
But they're doing it now, and kudos. It's I'll definitely be checking it out for $3, and if it sucks, I'll go back to extra tier. Moving on, unless you have anything else to say about this.
I'm ready to see what this catalog contains.
All right, we're gonna
see what good stuff's in it.
Yeah, I mean, they have a not to harp on it for too much longer, but they have the new Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie on there, like on the front page of the blog post. So I'm assuming for $3 a month, you might get access to their top of the line movies. I haven't seen the new Into the Spider-Verse yet. Yeah, that would be great.
And Sony does so much, so many films, so many great films.
I know.
Yes.
And it's worth it just for that movie alone. I would pay $3.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move on. So this is in a negative turn, turn of events here. Sony confirms another data breach. We have unfortunately experienced this before as PlayStation gamers, going all the way back to the PlayStation 3, where they gave us a free game because the PlayStation Store was hacked. The PlayStation Network was hacked, and the whole store was down and everything was down for, days. I don't remember the exact timeline, but it was days that you couldn't play. Unfortunately, we have another data breach, and apparently there's some extortion here. They were trying to blackmail Sony. I don't think they fell for it. I don't really want to put words in anybody's mouths, but I'm kind of paraphrasing just based on the initial research I've done. Here is a quote from videogameschronicle.com. PlayStation confirms data breach exposed 7,000 employees' personal information. The company has been contacting those affected by the unauthorized access. They go on to say Sony Interactive Entertainment has confirmed that around 6,800 current and former employees have had their personal information exposed. The PlayStation maker has been contacting those affected and letting them know what happened. According to Sony, the breach involved the Move It file transfer platform used by SIE employees, which is developed by third-party IT vendor Progress Software. So somewhere along that communication trail is where it happened. Progress announced on May 31st that it had discovered a vulnerability in Move It, but 3 days before this, an unauthorized actor had already used the vulnerability to download SIE files, accessing personal information for the 6,800 current and former employees. Sony claims the incident was limited to this particular software platform and had no impact on its other systems. So this should have just been an internal breach. Still scary. You hear the words data breach. It's a very scary buzzword almost. But it seems like it's just internal. I feel bad for these 6,800 employees and former employees, but I don't think it's going to affect us on the outside. Fortunately for us. Unfortunately for these employees, though. Adonis, what do you have to say about this?
I think it's piss poor. I understand that what the information is telling us is that this was kept rather in-house, but this has happened time and time again on a very large corporate level. And I think I'll use the words again. I think it's very piss poor when you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation, when you're a multi-billion-dollar entity, and you don't allocate the appropriate amount of funds to protect your information. That is the single largest and most lucrative crime to commit is information security, like cyber crime. So when you have places like Sony that are breaking in billions of dollars, like, hey man, like, what are you guys actually doing to protect not only your employees but your users? And I will stand by this I will stand on this mountain as long as I can. These companies are not allocating enough funds or paying enough for these security companies to protect their information. And once again, piss poor is the only way I can describe it, because time and time again this happens. And not to mention, when there are breaches of this kind, most of the times the public isn't notified. And the biggest example of that is Yahoo back in 2015. They had, I want to say, a large portion, like 80% of their customers' emails were hacked. And the general public didn't find out until months later. So,
well, if I can interject right here, that's a really good point, because it says that the first breach took place on May 28th. Yeah. So I know I mentioned May 31st, May 28th. Like, this was 5 months ago. We're recording on October 8th, and this information just kind of became public. So go on, but I just wanted to sort of say that.
No, that's just it. I feel like the public needs to be made privy to the information, not to like cause mass hysteria, because I mean, obviously we wouldn't go crazy, but it just goes to show that time and time again, I mean, in the world of cyber crime, the perpetrators are getting smarter and smarter every single day. So you would think it's kind of like with crime, like law enforcement, right? You bring on criminals to help you catch other criminals. Well, these people who commit cyber crimes, the information security people who exist, the law enforcement for cybersecurity, need to be right up on point with the rest of the world. They need to know what's happening. They need to know the latest moves, the latest techniques, the latest software, firmware. And like you said, there was a vulnerability in the software, and before they could,
it's called some third party software. I'm trying to look for the name of it. It was from it or something like that. But yeah, there was a vulnerability there. Move it.
Companies just don't do it, man. And these people who sit behind computers and attack the data of these major corporations, just think like they're looking to make the most money. So what they do is they hold this data for ransom. They've done it before. Like, hey, unless you pay us $10 million, we're going to leak the financial information of all of your employees.
Well, apparently they tried to do something like that. I can't find the exact quote, but I was doing some research on this before we recorded, and yeah, they wanted some money. Apparently Sony didn't budge.
Yeah. They do it all the time. And
happens way too often.
They won't stand. So they're not going to go and hack the public information of Honey Baked Ham. They're not going to go and hack the public information of Bed Bath & Beyond. There's no money to be made there. They attack the large corporations. And for some reason, for the past 10 to 15 years, time and time again, it happens and nobody does anything. They issue a statement. They say we're working on it and things stay the same. And it shouldn't be that way. People's information is important. It's proprietary. Like, right. Leave it to the people like who need to know. I shouldn't have some guy who's the smartest person in his community looking at my financial statements. Right. It's not okay. And once again, Sony just doesn't want to put that money, because bottom line, I guess, they don't want to put that money into actually securing their information. If they don't, stuff like this will continue to happen.
Yeah, and even if they aren't able to get money out of Sony, the hackers can still take this data and sell it on the black market and make money that way.
100%. Once again, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. I'll say this and I will leave it alone. Once again, This happened in May, and we weren't made aware until months later. There are probably plenty of instances where these hackers and these people that commit cyber crimes that just take that information and sell it to the highest bidder. Somebody could be looking through your search history halfway across the world.
Yeah.
You'd never know.
Right.
And that's scary.
Well, Sony is currently investigating both breaches and is offering credit monitoring and identity restoration services to those affected. Unfortunately, if you were affected by this, you probably already know this. This information is public now, but it is stale at this point because this happened back in May. So
when I see stuff like this,
Yeah.
it makes me think of Live Free Die Hard.
Yeah.
When the fire sale, I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
come on, man, let's get it together.
On a lighter note, our next topic I'm very excited to talk about. What a year for games this has been, Adonis. On a side note, we'll have to kind of go in depth and go down the list, but there have been so many major game releases this year. It is a renaissance year for video games, and I don't think I'm exaggerating using that word at all. We have another one coming out. We have Spider-Man, obviously, that's coming out in a couple weeks, but we have another one coming out. I mentioned it was October 8th. This game comes out on the 13th, this upcoming Friday. I'm talking about Lords of the Fallen. The IP has been soft rebooted, so to speak. This game is made by a new developer, and the game is imminent. It is using Unreal Engine 5, and it has been touted.
Oh, hold on.
Yes.
Say, I need you to just walk through that line one more time, nice and slow. It's using what? I want people to understand how important that is. No, you appreciate it, and I appreciate it, and I'm pretty sure the viewers appreciate it. But please, just walk through that line one more time. What are they using?
They are using Unreal Engine 5.
That's beautiful. That is so beautiful. That is the sexiest thing, man. Listen, I want you to get through what you're gonna say, but Unreal Engine is just we've come so far, man. We've come so far.
You know, you're very excited to talk about this. So I'm just gonna say this, and then I'm gonna pass it right over to you. All I was gonna say was they are describing this game. It's being touted as the first true next gen, quote unquote, Souls-like. Go ahead. What do you got about Lords of the Fallen? Have you seen anything about this game prior to me sending you this video?
No, I haven't seen anything about the game. I haven't heard anything about the game. But how you got me is the fact that it's using Unreal Engine 5. That's nuts. For the longest, even before the PS5 came out, it was, like, when are we going to get better graphics? Like, when are we going to get a game? Because for the longest, the standard, what we wanted, the goal was Unreal Engine. We had seen renders of it. We're like, man, these gaming studios are releasing videos of Unreal Engine and what games look like in it, but why can't we get it? And I think you said, I don't know if this is the first game, but from the looks of it, this is the first time I've heard of a game utilizing Unreal Engine 5. Man, chef's kiss. It's beautiful. Yeah,
it looks gorgeous. There's a Layers of Fear, another soft reboot of that franchise. That one was made by Bloober Team, the people that made the original Layers of Fear. That game uses Unreal Engine 5 and also looks gorgeous. But did you watch some of this video that I sent you? Are you looking at the graphics?
I'm looking at it right now.
What do you have to say? I mean, it's the proof is in the pudding. I think it looks gorgeous myself. I don't know if the game's going to hold up, gameplay wise. I don't know if it'll be worth $60 to $70. 70, I'm assuming, because it's quote unquote next gen. But graphically, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, a lot of games back in the day, back in the G, you always knew that there was a difference, a visible difference between what you saw in a gameplay trailer and what you saw when you got your hands on it. Nowadays, I mean, essentially what you're seeing in gameplay trailers is what you're going to get in game. So I will say the standard has increased, and a lot of the devs, developers, and programmers have done a lot better to give you that authentic representation of the game, even in the gameplay trailer. So there is no disconnect, or like you don't have to feel discouraged to go, man, this looks so good, but I tell you, when I get my hands on it and that loading screen is over with, it's not going to look anything like it. No, it's going to look exactly like what you see.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That line has gotten so blurred over the last between 5 and 10 years, I would say. It's insane. And this game, I am trying to be as skeptical as I possibly can because it looks like a winner. It looks like it's gonna be, you know, I used the phrase "the one" to describe Lies of P. It looks like another Souls like that's gonna be right up there with Lies of P. But that's too good to be true. How could we get Lies of P and then 3 weeks later get Lords of the Fallen and they both be smash hits? I can't get that excited yet, and I want to.
You can't, and you're right to feel that way. This game, first time watching it, it visually is breathtaking. It is beautiful. It's easy to follow. It has everything you want in a Souls-esque kind of game. But you're right. You don't want to get too ahead of yourself. Have you taken a peek at any of the reviews for the game?
They're not out yet. I don't think that the embargo is up quite yet.
Really?
If they want to send us a copy of the game, I'll be happy to review it.
If they hear this and they send us a copy, I will faithfully play this entire game without fail.
Adonis, one day we are going to get there where we get review copies. We will. Mark my words. You can quote this from episode 22 of the PSBlue Podcast. We're going to get to the review copy stage.
If we get there, all-time gratitude.
Yeah,
I'll play whatever it is. And I mean,
absolutely.
Come on, man, a Souls like type game that's out, that's visually beautiful like this, they wouldn't even need to send me a copy. Like I'll cop it. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, I would still probably buy it as well, just to support the developer if I, especially if I like the game. But another tangent for another day. But it's hard out here when you don't get the games a week early, like all these big channels and IGNs of the world. It's tough. You got to post the video right away, or you just get thrown to the wayside. Anyway,
this looks amazing. I'm sorry, y'all watching.
No,
this.
You're good.
This
is great. This is great. I the thing that surprises me the most is that you hadn't heard of it, because that was kind of the impression I got, and then obviously I asked you, and you admitted you'd never heard about this game. That's really shocking to me, because and it's really been more as of late. I would say the last month or so, they've been pumping up the ads for this game. It's been everywhere, at least in my algorithm or whatever on the internet. But that's really weird that you haven't seen anything of this.
I ain't seen nothing, but I'll be watching it. This looks real good. I'll be watching it. I'm definitely going to watch the gameplay of it. I mean, when I thought the trailer couldn't get better, I see something absolutely breathtaking. Like, it reminds me of, it reminds me of like Elden Ring. Even some of the weapons I'm seeing, I'm like, oh, that might be from Elden Ring. So I'm super excited to get my hands on it, and I'm ready to play it. It looks good.
Yeah, and this will be interesting for you, because, like we just said, you didn't know anything about this game. There's a system where there's two worlds. There's like an underworld and an overworld type thing, just to kind of simplify it. But did you see that lantern that the character has in the beginning? So
that almost just gonna say it, throw it out there and keep rolling. It reminds me of the lens of truth from Legend of Zelda. The idea that what is seen by the naked eye isn't seen through the eyes of something else, and that's just really, really cool.
Yeah, and you can actually visit that other realm though, and it
through the lantern.
Yeah, so it's even more than that. I don't know if it's through the lantern or what, but it's a mechanic in the game. And apparently the longer you stay in that realm, the crazier the enemies get, or something like that. I don't know. It only time will tell, but it's like I said, I'm trying to be as timid as I can be, because I just don't see it. I don't see a world where I get Lies of P, which it's already a 9 out of 10 for me, and another game right after that is as good as it looks. It's scary. It's it's kind of I'll say one negative thing. There's some characters and animations and stuff in this game where it's like a little too on the nose, directly ripped off of Elden Ring. And I'm like, they could have, it's a little too.
weapons, enemies, scenery.
Yeah,
It's
a little
cool.
bit
It's
too
cool. It's
like they
fine.
ripped it off.
It's fine.
You're cool with that?
We loved
This
it. Didn't we?
character in the beginning with the red flowing hair, it just reminds me of, I can't remember off the top of my head which Elden Ring character, but I mean maybe Radon, but it looks like a blatant ripoff of that character.
There's a moment in the trailer as well where I'm guessing your character is utilizing these two red blades. It reminded me of the bleed damage blades from Elden Ring. They looked exactly like them. I mean, am I cool with it? Absolutely. Who cares? Like, run it. I feel like the game is going to give an authentic representation of a Souls game. So I'm all for it.
Yeah, and I think it'll sell really well. I think, I don't know if it's going to be, like I said, I'm very skeptical. If this game is as good as it looks, I'm going to be a pig rolling around in the mud. But I mean, we'll see.
You want to be so excited about the game.
I want to. I got burned so many times on these Souls likes. I told you Thymesia sucked, and Steel Rising was surprisingly meh. I thought it was going to be terrible, and it was meh. So Lies of P finally got it right, and I'm not ready to, like, I don't want to be greedy, I guess, is the best way to put this. I'm happy with Lies of P. I'm happy with Lies of P being amazing, and that's enough for me. If Lords of the Fallen is also amazing, that's great. If it's not, I'm still very happy with the games we've been blessed with this year.
I love it. We're good. Like you said, you've been spoiled enough this year.
Yeah. Anything else on this, or can we move on?
Let's roll.
All right, let's roll. So this is a topic that it's been weighing heavily on my mind for a while now. And you mentioned last week that you have experience with this as well with Mortal Kombat 1. And I'm talking, of course, of these early access premium edition games. This article is from a really random website that I've never even heard of, but I wanted to have some sort of quote in here. It's from overclocked.net with a 3 instead of an E at the end. Very legit site, seems like. But you know, I just wanted to quote what they said here. So shout out to overclocked with a 3 instead of an E.net. Games with quote-unquote early access special editions see boosted premium edition sales. It's not hard to notice the growing trend of early access special edition games, which allow purchasers of premium pre-orders of games to play titles days or sometimes weeks before the standard edition releases onto store shelves. Over the past 2 months, and this article is from years ago, 2018 to be exact, but it's still relevant today. I would say it's even more relevant today. Anyway, over the past 2 months, we have seen this happen with Battlefield 5, Hitman 2, Forza Horizon 4, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey. So far, publishers have been very satisfied with the results of this practice, finding that more gamers purchase premium editions of games at launch, securing additional revenue for the publisher of each game during its launch window. So the proof is in the pudding. They don't really have any sources to back this up, but I'm assuming you could corroborate this information 15-fold, 20-fold, 30-fold. These companies kind of, most of them at least, kind of keep their sales data close to the vest. But there's no way they're not selling more copies of premium editions with this early access thing. And I just think it is such a, not to use the same phrase every week, but it's a money grubbing situation here, where not everybody was falling for the pre-order bonus of you get this extra skin that you'll use one time and the game's an extra $15. People weren't falling for that anymore, so they had to pivot. And the pivot that they had was, let's release an unpatched version of the game 4 days early that you could play before the game is really even polished. And most games are unfinished for the first 2 to 4 weeks of launch. Unfortunately, that's just the state that we live in, where the games get pushed out, they get rushed out, and they're not a finished product until 2 or 3 patches have come out. So you're getting a raw version of the game, and you're getting it 3 days early. But for a game like Lies of P, I had to do it because I had been waiting for that game for 2 years at this point. So they got me, and it's not the first time they got me, and it's Not going to be the last time they get me. Adonis, I'm going to let you talk. I've made my point very clear, I think, about how I feel. How do you feel about this premium edition early access trend that has been happening?
I think they can take my money. You can have it, whatever it is. And what I mean by that, I'll give you a really good example. GTA 6. We have been waiting, and we've been waiting, and we've been waiting. And I'll bet your candy ass that if they're going to offer a premium edition of that game, we're all going to get it. If they go, the game's slated for, let's just for the sake of the argument, let's say the game's slated for December 2024. But they go, oh, we're going to release a premium edition of GTA 6 on November 11th. Everyone's buying the game November 11th. And then they give you, like, I don't know, you start the game with $250,000. You have access to a DLC mission. Like, all they have to do is add these small incentives and then give you access to the game early. And they're going to get our money every time. And I think they understand that. And it's okay. Recognize it for what it is. You used great adjectives. It's a money grab for sure. But it's cool. Take my money. What am I going to do? Fight? What am I going to do? Fight it? No, actually, you know what? I'm going to wait and play. You're not waiting. We waited 10 years. We've been playing GTA 5 for like 12 years. Nah, I'm straight. And the creator or the creative director, whoever he is, for Rockstar, he made a video on TikTok and he said, I appreciate all of you for playing GTA 5 for so long. We have a lot of stuff in store for you, and we can't wait to show you more of GTA 6. There was no gameplay, and I was excited. You kidding me?
They got you. They got you.
I'm done. Like, I'm in a pool of my own fluids.
Yeah.
Take it. Yeah. And that's all it is. And gaming studios have caught on to it, and they'll use it, and it'll work. It'll work until it doesn't work anymore.
Right.
Think about it. What if they come out with another iteration of Elden Ring years and years down the road? We're gonna get it.
Oh, 100%.
Any game that you're looking forward to that they know there's a large enough audience for, offer a premium edition, you'll boost your sales. And we all understand what it is. We don't care. Give us our game so we can play it.
Yeah, and I think it's you have a more positive twist on it, I think, than I do. But I think it's circumstantial. I'll say that. I'll backpedal a little bit here, and I'll say it's, if you love the game enough, or if you have been looking forward to the game enough, and, I would say proceed with caution. I would say wait for the reviews to come out. Not that you should use game reviews as an end-all be-all, because I think that's another problem that we could talk about on another episode. But I think it's important for the embargo to at least be lifted before you get your hands on these games, because you'll get the initial impression of, and I'm not talking about the minutia of the game. I'm talking about, does it run well? Does it do what it advertised it would do? Okay, good. The game review, that's all I need to know from the game review. Let's move on. I'm going to get it now. Because sometimes the review embargoes a week before the game comes out. So that's all I'm saying. But if that all checks out and you've been waiting for this game for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, even 6 months, whatever, if you have the extra money for it, I agree with you. I say go for it.
Go broke.
Maybe not. Maybe don't go broke. Maybe eat first.
Okay. Well, okay. All right. No, you're right. You're right. You want to eat first. Go get you some ramen noodles. Yeah. They're 98 cents a pack.
Right.
And get you some Mountain Dew Code Red, and you can spend the rest on the game. Listen. If tomorrow, Anthony, they told you, I'm so sorry to all of you because I know you want the game so bad. Mm-hmm. If they tell you tomorrow, Half-Life 2, it's over. It's over. All the money. Everybody. Like, I'm talking people robbing banks.
Half-Life 3?
Yes. Whatever the new one that we're waiting.
It'd be Half-Life 3, yeah.
That they've been waiting, what 13 years for?
Something crazy like that,
E3, the comment section goes wild. New Half-Life. If they ever tell us Half-Life 3, take all the money. But like you said, proceed with caution.
Right.
It is only reserved for the large gaming titles. Notice I said Rockstar, GTA 6, Half-Life 3. In this case, Hitman, I ain't really sold on. Forza, I'm not sold on either. Tomb Raider, who cares? That's like personally, just for me. But those are large gaming titles that you can get that money from. You're not like, nobody's gonna like, what is it? Little People, Big Planet, I think. Like, nobody's going crazy for that. They know when to add a premium edition of a game, and that is gonna make money. Large titles will do just that.
Yeah, but they did it for Lies of P. And I think they knew Lies of P was going to be a big title. Exactly. But it's from a small South Korean studio that nobody's ever really heard of. What's to stop the small games from doing it? I think my thing is, if there's a niche for the title, and even if you have 10, 15 people that are excited for the game and want to play the game 3 days early, why would you not take that extra $1,500? Or $150. God, I can't do math. Thank God this isn't a math podcast. You know what I mean, though. Yeah. Why would you not take the extra $150?
There you go.
You don't lose anything from offering the premium. I think it's going to become a problem. I do. So I'm a little bit more on the skeptical end, I think, than you are concerning this. I think you're kind of like, who cares? Do whatever you want with your money. I just don't like the trend that is happening. Another trend that I talked about that I don't want to dive back into, but I've mentioned this before. And you can definitely look at this and back this up. PlayStation games go on sale right before they hit the PlayStation Plus catalog.
They do.
They got me about 5 to 7 times, I would say.
Where I'm like,
oh, damn, this game is super cheap right now. I've been looking forward to this. I'm gonna pick this up for $14. Sweet. The next week, it's been announced that Ghost of Tsushima is going to be on the PlayStation Plus extra catalog. I'm like, wow, I just wasted $14. That's great. Yep. So they find all these different strategies of doing it to the point where I'm afraid to purchase a game anymore. But like I said, it seems like you're on the less skeptical side of this. Where do you draw the line? $20, $30, $40? Would you spend $40 to get GTA a week early? I think you would. As excited as you are for that, maybe just GTA, but where would you draw that line?
All right, well, let's just think about it real quick, right? The game will be $70. If they offered you a premium edition for $120, it came with a steel book for the game. It came with blah 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 blah. Sure. $40, $50. That's where I kind of draw the line, though.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. I think that, it's only $10 now, typically speaking, the early access, quote unquote, version. But I did it for Diablo 4 because my girlfriend Kelly was really excited for that. So we got in on that early. It's also just a scheduling thing sometimes. Like, I have Sunday, Monday off. So Lies of P came out, I think, on a Thursday, but the early access dropped on a Monday, and sometimes I don't do anything on a Monday, and I was sitting there twiddling my thumbs, and I was like, I could be playing right now for an extra $10. I just dropped the $10 and
lock it up.
Right, exactly. So I don't know. I think this is something we need to keep monitoring and maybe come back to in another 6 months, but it's it's very interesting. Like I said, this article that I pulled was from 2018.
And it's still relevant. It's crazy.
Right. There's a reason why I pulled it from so long ago. It is still relevant, 5 years later. It's crazy, and it's going to continue to be relevant, I feel like. But yeah, that's my soapbox. I don't have anything left to say. If you don't, we can move on.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So the next topic we have is a little, a lot of the times I like to end these podcasts. This is the last topic, and then we have For Your Consideration. It will be back at the end of this episode. Adonis is going to get a game to play that I suggest him. So for all those of you that have been waiting for Your Consideration, it is back, official. Hello, you are talking to future Anthony. Adonis had to go, so I'm here to wrap up the podcast. Pretty much our last topic was about this game called Death Relives. And Death Relives follows a first-person look at the life through the eyes of a teenager who is trying to escape from mighty Aztec god. It says here on PlayStation's YouTube channel, get ready for a chaotic experience with horror and survival mechanics. It also says Death Relives is developed by a team that loves mythology and horror. Run, hide, and survive. That's all you can do, but it won't be easy. Initial impressions of this game, like I said, it's a little indie game, horror game in time for Halloween. It seems like I don't like to use this word because it's often associated with a negative connotation, but it seems like a walking simulator of sorts with a horror spin on it. It seems very cool. The graphics are very impressive, and there's some mythological things happening here that make it worth checking out, I think. Depending on the price point, I think the price point will make or break whether I pick this game up. But I always like a good horror game right around this time, and this definitely fits that bill. So I would say $24.99 or lower. I'd definitely check this out. Now, if it comes in with a $60 price tag, they're out of their damn minds, and I am not buying a game from a studio I've never heard of. Day one, at least. If it gets 9s and 10s on every website, then yeah, maybe I'll check it out. But, I think for a discounted price, this game could see a lot of success. And it seems to be taking this mythological spin in a new direction for the horror genre, which we've seen so many cliche things at this point in gaming. So I would love to get Adonis's 2 cents, but like I said, he had to go. That's sort of where we stand with Death Relives. And last but not least, for your consideration, before Adonis had to sign off, I was able to reveal his game in the category Wildcard. He has 2 weeks to play it. Next week, I will get a game suggested to me from Adonis. But for right now, Adonis is playing Bloodborne. Yes, Bloodborne is a blind spot to him. So I am very interested to see, before he picks up Lords of the Fallen, before he picks up Lies of P, before he picks up another Souls game, he needs to see the origin of one of the best in the business, Bloodborne. It is a PlayStation exclusive. It is a crying shame that he has not played it yet. So we're going to get him to play that and review it in 2 weeks' time. But that is it for this episode of the PSBlue Podcast. Thank you for making it this far. Until next week, I'm Anthony. Thank you for listening. Have a great one.